Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Purpose Driven Camps. I'm your host, William Grayson, along with my sidekick, William D. Harris. How you doing today, William?
Great, man. Blessed by the best.
All right. Today we got Mr. Kevin Culpepper, natural bodybuilder. Kevin, tell our listeners a little bit about yourself so they know what you're about and what you have done.
Well, first of all, I am honored to be here. Thank you so much, you all, for having me on. Of course, as he's said, my name is Kevin Culpepper, and have been inspired to be doing natural bodybuilding as a youth. And I had the opportunity to study some nutrition as well as APK, anatomy and physiology, and kinesiology to further along, not only to help myself, but to try to help other people to live their best life.
Oh, that is outstanding. How did your passion for bodybuilding shape your life in purpose and direction?
Well, initially as a youth, I was extremely overweight, and then even into my elder years at over 300 pounds. And so I was somewhat of an introvert just because at that particular size and the time that I was growing up, it was found through different studies that children would be more likely to play with someone with a physical handicap than they would with someone that was extremely overweight. So I was teased a lot, and it was about there was a time I seen a black guy, and I don't know if you guys remember this if you're old enough. Um, there was an Ebony magazine, and there was Jet, and there was one of the first black Mr. Americas in there.
Yeah.
Seen that, and I was like, well, I think that there will be a better perception of who I am as a person if I got into doing something like that. People probably wouldn't tease me as much. And so, unfortunately, when I got into the bodybuilding deal and all that thing, I found how pervasive the drugs were. And unfortunately, now you will see that it's even more pervasive in sports. And that, by which I mean, is the steroid usage. So, there's been a
Right.
lot of you, especially in bodybuilding. And so I took the natural bodybuilding route. But to take the natural bodybuilding route, that meant you had to learn about nutrition. You had to learn about the body itself through anatomy and physiology and biology and some chemistry and some biochemistry. So all those, it came into a significant play as to how I got into it. And the more you learn, the more that you find that you don't know. And like they say, a wise man knows nothing, but a fool thinks he knows it all. So as we continue learning and understanding, we find that there's much more that we don't know. So this has been one of my major foundations as to going into bodybuilding.
So it's hard to believe you was 300 pounds.
Yes, sir. I still, unfortunately, and I'm glad I'm here on today because I still struggle with weight. There's not a workout routine that you cannot outwork. Unfortunately, at these beginning times of the year is when a lot of us make our resolutions and we try to get in better shape. We know we owe it to ourselves, but we all need help. And I've adorned many stages. I've won a lot of trophies, a lot of different competitions, even as high as Mr. Natural Olympia. But honestly, I still have to pray and really focus on this nutrition piece to get my body in the condition that it needs to be to get on the stage. Some of us just have a harder time with that. So that's why I not only came on here for the fact to not to, toot a horn or nothing, but to say that we need help. And it's very, very important that we get a camaraderie or a team, get a team of person that says, hey, you know what, let's go do a walk. Or if you got a workout partner, there's a sense of accountability now. So what we want to do is we want to establish a sense of accountability with each other. We owe it to ourselves to live our best life. And we all need help to do it.
All right. Will.
Kevin,
Yeah.
what are your feelings regarding how steroids have affected bodybuilding in a positive way, in a negative way, performance enhancing drugs overall? What are your feelings about the damage it has done in bodybuilding and other professional athletes all over?
It's so unfortunate that I've seen And we can, I'm not just going to voice my personal opinions. I like for people to do some statistical analysis on it themselves. And we can see from when Arnold Schwarzenegger has really coined bodybuilding to be as famous as it is on today. But if you look at how the drugs has transcended over the time that he started as to where we are now, and we're looking at how many bodybuilders has perished at young age, based on all the anabolics and the usage. And unfortunately, when younger people in different sports or athletics look up on these guys and say, I could use a little bit more size for football, or I could use a little bit more size for, hitting home runs. And they're not looking at all the ramifications behind what is taking place, on their organs, and what's taking place in the enlargements of their hearts. So with this only a one-sided piece of information being given to these youth or these young people that go in there and taking these drugs, and then they fall ill and sick, and their careers are shortened because of it. I get so many individuals that come up to me even as of now without on the drugs and say, Kev, I have nothing, and I did nutrition first because now we can find different ways to enhance your natural hormone production. Now these guys got to go on testosterone replacement therapy. They die in early death. So from what I've seen, I haven't seen a lot of positive things come out of hormone and steroid usage, to be honest.
Kevin, how much has your faith impacted your life?
Well, then that's a very, very good question, because the faith is what it is that you believe in. And so I believe in Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. So, and some people's faith is believing and they can stand in Times Square and shoot people and grab women by their privates and still get elected into office. So it's where your faith is. My faith is in the power of the Lord. And he said, let the joy of the Lord be your strength. So the thing about it is that we have to understand that he says, I dwell not in temples made with hands, right? So if
Mhm.
he doesn't dwell in temples made in hand, then where does he dwell? So he says, you are the temple, you are the synagogue. So what the Lord is looking from each and every one of us is what someone can take from your tree. How much patience are you going to have? Temperance and long suffering, or being forgiving, having charity or compassion? What can someone take from your tree? This you cannot get from a synagogue, but you can get from an individual, because he works through people. So the thing about it is that you're going to make all kind of money, you're going to possess all kinds of things, but the greatest asset that you will ever have is you, to whom he's loaned. You don't really belong to yourself, because you've been paid for it with a price, even though we may not know you've been paid.
Yeah.
So you have a deed and the honor to take care of yourself, and to do what's necessary. Because if you was to go get a brand new nice Mercedes Benz and you're going to read the manual, you're going to put everything in it. You're going to give it the proper oil, the gas, and everything that it needs to function properly. But the thing about it is when you ask someone about their health, they can tell you about what's in their 401k, what the retirements are going to look like, how much is in their bank account. But what you say, hey man, what is your HA1C, or what is your lipid panel, or how many carbohydrates are you consuming on today, or what is your blood pressure? They look at you like a doe in the road now, because this is your greatest asset is you, and we don't take the time to look at that. But the faith factor is that we're going to show what we feel in faith about how we take care of ourselves. So you can't expect somebody to love and have compassion and take care of you if you not taking care of yourself.
Right, everything. It's the truth too. Can you discuss the importance of discipline in both your training regimen and your daily life?
Absolutely, because they go hand in hand. And I've been very, very fortunate, because you know that whatever it is that you do in your daily life and you put your time and your energy, usually is going to be the place from which you are getting your income. And so there's other things that I really enjoy doing. I love playing my saxophone, and I love doing other things, and I love ministering. But the thing is I put so much time, energy, and education into competitions and getting in shape and nutrition and helping people. So I'm also the wellness coordinator for the city of Gainesville, Florida, which
Wow, we
employs
didn't know that.
over 2,300 individuals, and we put together programs from weight loss to lighten up, which is 9-month programs to help individuals get in shape, and then I'm able to give them back between $350 and $600 based on their participation in the programs. So it's kind of a win-win there. So when you ask how my faith is directly correlated with the health, they actually go right together. If we go and take a chance to look at Daniel 7 for one, Daniel chapter 1, and when he's talking about, I believe it's Daniel 1, but he's talking about the Daniel. A lot of people has coined this Daniel fast, um, where Daniel was at the king's table where they have all the wonderful delicacies to eat, and it was told to Daniel, you take your man and go 10 days and you eat of the pulse, which is like legumes and lentils and so forth. And when they came back, they couldn't believe the countenance of how great these men look, and asked them, man, what have you been doing? So it's not so much as the delicacies and the tasties that we eat, because we have to be very, very cautious that we are creatures of we are creatures of comfort. So I want everything that tastes good, look good, supersize it, and now we're doing what we're doing is we're not mortifying the deeds of the flesh. It's going to be work. But the thing about it is that the Lord is going to provide you with everything that you need to be successful. But you putting one foot in front of the other to make it happen, that's on you. And so that's what I have to be concerned with my mouth and this diet, because I can train, I can lift weights. My thing is I like tasty foods and sweets and all that thing. And he constantly reminds me, I'm going to give you everything you need. But you being disciplined, that part is on you. And so when we look at that word discipline and discipleship, they're perfectly linear, aren't they?
Yes.
But we have to be disciplined to be disciples. We can't be moved by every wind of doctrine or everything that's put in front of you that look good, taste good, or feel good. Or otherwise, you forfeited the plan, not only for salvation, but for your own life here as an individual that's trying to be healthy.
So, how has your approach to nutrition and fitness evolved over the years?
That's a really good question, simply because it doesn't it doesn't just take off overnight. It's kind of like that baptism you took.
Mm-hmm.
With the baptism, you wasn't shaking down, running over with the whole. You had to learn the ways. You had to take your steps. You had to go get those experiences through life. You had to get knocked down. You had to get back up. See, because when you take up the name of the Lord, you're trying to depart from iniquity, and when you do that, you get all types of stuff that comes at you that's gonna test you. You often tell people, and you good thing I'm not the man I used to be. You revert back to that because it's still there. And likewise with your nutrition, it's kind of like a pendulum. We start out well, we do real good, and then all of a sudden things starts to creep back into your diet. But the whole idea is that we're conscious of it. As long as we're conscious of it, it's kind of like a smoker. Don't quit quitting, because they're going to revert back. Sometimes you're going to start back. So when we go into it with those ideas, and I've helped individuals that's morbidly obese, we have a program that's going on right now with them and for them. Um, and you have to have those expectations that people are going to have tough times, and they're going to have pendulum, they're going to swing back and forth, but you have to consistently be there to motivate and encourage. It's so easy to discourage. This world is great for discouraging. What we have to do is find a place where we can consistently encourage one another, because in your encouraging someone, you're going to be encouraged. It's kind of like it takes two hands to wash the one. As you encourage and continue to pour out, you will be poured into.
So let me ask you. So you said the program, you said you help people and sometimes they fall off their diet and everything, their regimen. So what do you do to keep them on their regimen? If they fall off, a backslide, as you say, what do you do to like, hey, all right, look, I understand you done backslide. Let's get back on track. Let's keep it moving.
Exactly, you nailed it. Because when we fail, when we fall, we feel like we failed completely. And so
Right.
that's satanic. That's just satanic. And we want to whitewash those thoughts. We just like, you know what? There's always another day. There's a new day. And the thing about it is what's different from today. This is brand new. And so you got a brand new start. So let's just do the best we can on today. And we're just going to continue to go forward. If we fall, we're just going to, we're going to do? It's just like family. Anybody that may have an issue or a problem or a situation, you know what? No matter how many times they fall, you're going to be there to pick them back up. And if they know that, first of all, if you've established the fact that you love somebody and you got their back and you supporting them, they're not gonna let you down. They don't want to let themselves down either. But in the event that people fall, we just have to consistently push them and get them back up and get back up. Don't be discouraging, but consistently encourage, because we all need help, and we all fall. How many? The Lord said, "Man, fall 7 times," right? So we just continue to get each other back up on.
Will?
Kevin,
Yes,
born and
sir.
raised in Saginaw, how much of an impact have that experience of being born and raised in Saginaw, Michigan, played a major role in your life?
Saginaw is awesome. It is awesome. I got a chance to not only be born and raised in Saginaw, I had the opportunity to work under a guy called O'Neill in the school district as a resource officer for this district. I started off in the school system as a substitute teacher in the EI self-contained special ed classroom, which I under Ostrander Lane, and they were awesome principal. He was an awesome principal to work for, and what Saginaw has helped and taught me, although I had to deal with students and gang violence as well as issues with non-conformance, and then I had the ability to work with students as well as at the which was the LLC, but it later become the Reuben Daniels uh, what is the science, arts and science on school, which is what is that now off East Genesee now, and is really well known for its arts and science. So I've had the gamut, and it's really Saginaw really helped shape a lot because in Saginaw jobs were not real plentiful, and so funny story is I wanted this resource officer job so bad, and I had already been working as a security officer elsewhere, and I was taking every class that I needed to take to go there. And after I submitted my resume and my applications, I would go down to the board of education, and I would look at the officer that was the hiring man, and I would dress just like they would, whatever color shirts they had on, whatever color pants they had on. I would even put a little flashlight or whatever it was on the side of my pants, and go in there, my cell phone, and look like I was on the payroll. Man, going, hey, how's the application looking? So Saginaw showed me tenacity, and Saginaw showed me enthusiasm, because you had, if you want something, Saginaw taught you really had to go. And fortunately, so wherever you notice that anyone that leaves Saginaw or the North and go anywhere to get employment, you pretty much first get hired, simply because the chances for opportunities wasn't as great. And so when you did get a job, you didn't feel like somebody owed you anything on that job. You had to go in there, you want to show out what you can do, you want to do your best. And so Saginaw had put some really strong roots as far as working and how to network with individuals and have a greater sense of appreciation. Right now I'm in Florida, and all the plants that I was trying to grow in Saginaw inside my house, they're growing in my yard. So it gives you appreciation. So people that lived here all their life, they look at the plants and they're running them over with their lawnmowers. And I'm like, what are you doing? And so it just gives you a great appreciation. So I'm grateful for my roots. I love Saginaw, the people, and it just helped me be a much better individual wherever else. It just got me ready. It sounds like that you ready.
Kevin, what is the camaraderie like between bodybuilders?
Well, that's a really good question. Now there's a different league. There's a league called the IFBB or the NPC, or those groups of individuals that have to take steroids if they want to succeed. I would like to think that the camaraderie is good, but unfortunately, when you introduce hormones, when somebody say, "Hey, man, you're just being hormonal," that's not a good that's not a good thing to be able to say about somebody. If they say you're being hormonal, even if you said it to someone of the opposite sex, you're being that's not a good have start a communication. But if you injecting or putting foreign objects into your body, which is hormones, chances are it's easy to have a catalyst for ignition of things that go wrong in a relationship, especially with all the competition among each other. And now you have this ill platform. So things that I've seen over the years, it hasn't been good, but in the natural bodybuilding world, it's been great because there's a dialogue along older generation of bodybuilders that really want to help the younger guys come along. So with me, anybody that I've had the opportunity and a wonderful time taking on young people that wanted to do bodybuilding, as well as older people that wanted to do it naturally and through have nutrition and good rest and good sleep and good relationship with their family members on this. So what it does is make you a better person of who you currently are. And what I find with the drugs in the bodybuilding arena, it it gives you a quicker results, but it's a hard run for a very short slide as far as relationships is concerned, because you're testy, you're angry, your hormones are all over the place, and now your health is going to go in the toilet simply because of it. So I just don't see a great outcome from it. But to answer your question, I don't see a lot of great camaraderie and relationship among those in the drug arena. There is some, but statistically speaking, I believe for the majority, I don't think the brotherhood is there. The brotherhood is not there. Now, years ago, when you would see when the drugs was not as pervasive as it was with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Franco Colombo and those guys, I believe the camaraderie was much, much better there because bodybuilding itself was not, it wasn't received as an open sport. And so what happens when you have individuals, it's a small group of individuals like that. Now what they're doing is they're their own support group. They were their own support. But now, with it being such a great thing that you got all this competition among each other, and there's no unity now.
Dang. This is my last question. Can you share a particular memorable moment of achievement in bodybuilding career that contributed to your personal development?
Well, yes, I can. My younger brother, Eric, God bless him.
Uh huh.
When I entered my first show, I took second to last, and he told
Second
me
to last.
second to last. I didn't know what I was doing. I'm 60 years old. I was in my teens back then, and I was eating Cheerios to prepare for the show. And my brother, I didn't know, but I did my best. What I did know, it was a mainstream thing. And he told me I took second to last. You know what he told me? He told me, he said, you know what, you need to go shake that guy's hand that took last for entering the show. God bless. And he said he entered the show, you've been dead last. But that's what you can expect from a younger brother. But my elder brother, he has always been there as well. I love them both. They have been extremely encouraging in what I do, and I just can't thank God enough for them. But that was one of the greatest turning points for me. I knew that for me to succeed and do well, that I was going to have to try harder to do better. And so we owe it to ourselves to be better and try better and try harder. Because I could easily quit then, but that was the beginning, and I continue to do ever since. So it's been good.
You can tell how many trophies you got.
Oh my
First,
God! Can I show you? This is only some of them. This is only some, because what I do is I've given away many of them. This is the Mr. Gainesville. When I won the Mr. Gainesville, I was in my 50s when I won Mr. Gainesville. I've given away a lot. I've given away a lot of the swords that I've won, the overalls as well, just because I want to give away things that might help someone, encourage them to, you know, it doesn't have to be bodybuilding, but whatever it is that you desire to do. If you, unfortunately, The cemetery is one of the greatest pieces of real estate on this planet, because all those songs that somebody wanted to publish, or that book that they wanted to write, or that bodybuilding competition that they wanted to do, it just got it's buried with them. And so that's one of the greatest pieces of real estate, is the cemetery, because we all those lost dreams that didn't happen. So I encourage anyone and everyone under the sound of my voice, whatever it is that you wanted to do, don't let your conscious override your subconscious, because when you put it in your subconscious is when mountains move. But where our conscious is always trying to make sense of why you shouldn't succeed. I don't have the time, or I don't have the money, or I don't have the resources. All you have to do is put it in the universe and know that you want it. And he said, you have not. Come on, somebody, because you ask not. So let us ask bold questions, and he is sure to give you the desires of your heart. So I encourage anyone and everyone, whatever it is that you wanted to do, and somebody told you couldn't, the doors are open. Go make it happen.
Well, we'll wrap it up right there. Thank you, Mr. Kevin, for coming on our podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, this wraps up another episode of Purpose Driven Champs. I'm your host, William Grayson, along with William Harris. Good day and good night.
I
Have a
appreciate you
great
guys.
day.